Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. You're very welcome to the programme. And where we are today is we're actually at the bird aviary down here at Portmore LOUGH. Now, I want to talk to you a wee bit about Portmore Castle. And Portmore Castle was a stone castle built in the Middle Ages. It was built in 1664 and it was demolished in 1761. Now, Portmore became part of the Great O'Neill territories from the mid-13th century, and the last O'Neill of Portmore Castle, Captain of Cullotta, refused to negotiate peace and was ousted then by Elizabeth I in 1602. Now, James I granted lands between Lough and the River Lagan to Sir Fulk Conway, who was a Scot. This area included the ancient castle of Portmore. Now, Conway is responsible for the founding of modern Lisburn, which of course is a city today. So it was actually Conway who built Lisburn Castle, which was a fortified manor house built by him in 1622. And the manor house was destroyed in the Great Fire of 1702. And all that's left is the 16th century gateway, of course. Now, Lord Conway is responsible for the rebuilding of Lisburn Castle and for the construction of Castle Gardens. And Sir Richard Wallace built the current house that is there today, and he built that in 1880. But getting back to Portmore Castle and grounds had become neglected and so were demolished in 1770. And of course only the walls of the bowling green remain. Now, the third Viscount Conway, Edward, had replaced the old castle with a mansion house complete with grand gardens and aviary, orchards and stables for cavalry. And the lough and the newly enclosed deer park became a European paradise for huntsmen with its imported game. So this is the enclosure here with the picnic tables where the bird watchers can have a picnic. Now, the lough in the newly enclosed deer park, as I say, it was a paradise, so it was tremendous to see it back in the day. And as I say, the castle was demolished in 1770, and all that remains today of the castle is the walls of the bowling green. You can see a map there, changing times, Portmore LOUGH Reserve, and you can also see the timeline there. I'm going to show you a picture here of what's left of the castle. I did try to find the castle, but went as far as I could, but with no success. It says only the wall of the bowling green remains of the once grand Portmore Castle. And then that one is the wall enclosing the hog park. It says it could still be seen on Branken's Island Road. And then that's the wee timeline there. Now, two huge ancient oak trees once stood on the Portmore estate. The Royal Oak and the Broad Oak. And the Royal Oak, also known as the Ornament Oak, was over 40 feet in circumference when it was blown down in a windstorm in 1770. And Portmore LOUGH was also known as Lough Beg. The lough is near the site of the former castle. So, going to show you a connection here with Portmore LOUGH because it became a lifesaver for this gentleman. A change of plan. Christmas Eve 1944, and a young Royal Navy pilot, Peter LOUGH, took off from Longhouse Airfield. He headed out towards the Lough firing ranges. Just after takeoff, the engine of his Wildcat fighter plane exploded and caught fire. Peter knew he would have to ditch it in Lough, but would he make it? Luckily, he spotted Portmore LOUGH below. The shallow lough and underlying mud saved his life, and Peter was rescued by our neighbours in their rowing boat. The wreckage of his aircraft was a landmark on the lough for many years. In 1984, the Wildcat was removed by the Ulster Aviation Society, and has now been restored at their hangar in LOUGH. So quite remarkable, isn't it? The lock saved his life. So I suppose I better show you the lock before we wrap this wee video up. There's my stick, it's just full. So this is the lock. And the bird watchers come here. But this is Portmore Lock. Beautiful, isn't it? You can see the cows there doing a bit of grazing. So you can have a wee look there. It gives you the position of various things. But you'll see here it also says site of Portmore Castle. But unfortunately we couldn't find what was left of the castle. And then this is the old church. And I've done a video of the old church, LOUGH, site of ancient church, which is over there. And of course the ruins, there's 2 gable walls still standing of the old church, and I've done a video on that. So there you go, folks. So that's Portmore Lock and its connection with Portmore Castle, and also the connection with Peter Lock, who owes his life to the mud flaps on the Portmore Lock. So thanks for watching, and God bless.